Hey my friends, Shawn here, coming to you from the studios at theautomationschool.com. And in this episode of The Automation Show, we're going to set up our PanelView Plus to communicate to a ControlLogix, PLC-5, and SLC-500 over Data Highway Plus. Now, if you haven't seen our previous episodes, you can see behind me, I have an L63 version 20 with a DHRL on Data Highway Plus going to a 504 and then going to a PLC-520. So that's what we're going to communicate to. And on my PanelView Plus, I have one of these 2711 P-RN6s. And on the PanelView Plus, that supports DH Plus, Remote I/O, and DH45. Now, if you have a PanelView Plus 6, the Remote I/O is not supported. But on the regular PanelView Plus, it is. We're not going to do Remote I/O. It's not any fun to do, so we're just not going to do it. But like, maybe we'll do it in the future. But it's just, putting an HMI on an I/O network is, it's not as fun as what we're going to do now. It's not as easy and intuitive. So with that said, let's go over to the computer. But before we actually get started, I do want to thank our patrons. I almost forgot. I want to say a huge thank you to all our patrons who support the show. If you would like to learn how you can support the show with a small monthly pledge and get some free rewards, check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/automation. And now with that said, let's go over to the computer. And you can see here, I'm opening up Factory Talk View Studio. And we'll choose Machine Edition here. And we're going to create a new project. We're going to call it PVP underscore, whoops, I got cap locks on, PVP underscore DHP. How's that? Okay, it's going to be a 1000, create. And while that's doing that, I'm going to move this other panel view out of the way here. And what we'll do here is we'll set up our communications in what used to be called RS Links Enterprise. It's now called RS Links, actually Factory Talk Links. And you'll see it come in right here, right down here. See that? So I believe this is version 10 I'm running. And that's where they renamed it. That's the version in which it got renamed. So we'll double click on communication setup here, create a new configuration. And I don't have any way to communicate on Data Highway Plus directly on my computer. I can go through a bridge. Of course, we've done episodes on the USB to Data Highway Plus and Ethernet to Data Highway Plus bridges from ANC. And so you can, if you're interested in those, I'll put a link up on the screen where you can see our previous videos and articles on those. Very cool devices. I also have a Ethernet to Data Highway Plus bridge here, just using the standard ControlLogix bridge devices. But see, View Studio, Machine Edition, PanelView Plus, they don't support going through those bridges, right? So let's see if I got regular RS links running here. Now let me go ahead and open her up. And so I can show you the network. 159. DHRIO. And there we go. That's everything I have on the Data Highway network. So we're going to talk to this L63 as well as these two PLCs. All right. So I'm not going to be able to do any testing over Data Highway Plus, but on the runtime, I can definitely add that stuff in. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll right click. We'll add a driver. We have the RN6. But we want the Data Highway Plus version. Okay, so we'll add that in. And I think I have 3, 4, 5. We're going to make this guy 6. Okay, jumper ID. I leave everything else at the defaults here. So I don't think I have a station 6. We can go back to Links Classic and just verify that. I did. Oh, actually, I do have something right here as address 6. So we'll make it 7. Go back in here. Go to properties and change it to 7. Excellent. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is add in the devices I want to talk to. So the first one will be a DHRIO, I don't know what version I have. Let's go back to Linux Classic. I don't even think it matters, but if we can come in here, or probably right here, and go to Device Properties, we can see I have a version 5. Okay, so we'll choose 5. Okay, what address is that guy at? I think he was at, let's see, he's at address 10. Okay. There we go. And then inside of that chassis, we have our L63. There it is. And I'm running version 20. Again, I don't think this matters. It's never mattered in any projects I put together. The slot does matter, though, and I do have it on slot 0. We can see that in links. You can see right here, the L63. Okay, boom. So that's the first PLC. Now the next PLC I want is going to be a PLC-5. Here we go. And I'm looking for an L20B. That's what I got. His address is 0. Finally, the last PLC will be a 504. I'll just say a 541. Address 1. Okay, good. So far, so good. So now we can add our shortcuts. These are very important here. We have, I'm going to keep them very short. PLC-5. Go into the PLC-5. Apply. Yes. SLC-4 for the 504. It's right there. Apply. Yes. And last but not least, we'll say L63. L63 to the L63. Apply and OK. Now, with ControlLogix, of course, it's always helpful to use your offline tag file. Okay, so we'll click on there. And the one I'm looking for is, this is the last one we did from the last episode that we did anything with our L63. So that was, yeah, that looks like it. Okay, excellent. So let me apply that as well. Now, what I could do here is I could test it out locally. I can get to the L63 directly on Ethernet, right? So I can test that one out locally here. The PLC and SLC-504, I really have no way to get to them from my PC, but I do have the same program that I use in my Factory Talk VUSE course. I also have it in the Micro 1400, which is on Ethernet. So just for the sakes of testing, I'll send the SLC-504 to the ControlLogix 1400 on Ethernet here under the design local. Same as the PLC-5. Again, it's really the same program in all those controllers. So I'll test these by going to the 1400, but in the runtime, they'll actually talk to their right PLCs over Data Highway Plus. Okay. All right. So with all that done, I think we're done. So the most important thing we got to do, you can't cancel this. You have to click on OK. All right. Good deal, Lucille. All right, with that done, the next thing I want to do is I want to import tags from my PLC and SLC. And the reason is, even though I could come into the graphic displays and directly reference one of those tags, let me put a numeric display on here. Objects, numeric display, connections, refresh all folders. Okay, I can go online. This is actually going to the 1400. And N753 is one of the addresses we've been using. You know, that doesn't help anybody who's troubleshooting the system. So I rather use HMI tags when I'm working with the legacy controllers. So I could do that. It would work. See? But what is N753? Well, we know because we've been using that address. That's from my Factory Talk VUSE course. But what is it? No, the guy who comes after us isn't going to know what it is. So that's why I like to use tags. I'll leave that there. But let's go into our HMI tags. And while there is utility here, you can use the import tags from SLC-500 PLC-5. It dumps them all in the root folder. I don't like to put my tags in the root folder. There's a lot of reasons I cover in my PanelView Plus Core Basics course about that, why you don't want to use the root folder, or why I prefer not to. So I'm going to create a folder here for the PLC and the SLC. I'm I'm not going to use the same names I use in FactoryTalk Links or RS Links Enterprise, because there was a bug at one point in the past, and once bitten, twice shy. I think I said this in our DH45 course episode of the show. So I'm going to say PLC-520 just to keep it slightly different than the shortcut name. And then I will make another one here. We'll call it SLC-504. And I'll just bring up those shortcuts here. We're going to need them in a little bit. So let me bring that up. Let me restore that window. And we'll just move that over here so we can see what the shortcut names are. Okay, so the easy way to bring the tags in is to use this database browser, okay, or other database browser. I think here in the menu they call it other databases, but here they call it the DB browser. Same thing, okay? And this allows me to bring the tags directly into that folder. It also allows me to multi-select which tags I want. I don't have to bring them in. I don't have to bring all of them in. So it's just a much better way to do it than the utility, in my opinion. So I'm going to browse for the file here. I'm looking for the 504 15 SB. I think I may have a 2. Make some small tweaks in the code as the time goes on. And then I'm going to filter on. You can see those are all the tags. I'm going to filter on N7:0. Yeah, I just want N750. Okay. How about N750 through 99? Let's grab those, select, then shift, click. We'll bring those all in. But the most important thing here is I got to type in the RS Links Enterprise shortcut or the FactoryTalk Links shortcut. That's why I pulled this up over here. So you can see it's SLC-4. If I don't, when it imports it, it's going to give all the tags the wrong. Whatever you put in here, it's going to give it to them. So it needs to be right, or you're going to have to edit them all. So yeah, so that's the right shortcut name. It's right there. So we will click on OK. And now we'll do the same for the PLC-5. Okay, the shortcut was PLC-5. Different program though. I need to go to RSLogix 5. Change this to 5. And Studio B version 2. Okay, and I want, let's see, N750 through 99. PLC-5, it's in the right folder, everything looks good. Yeah, I just think that's the easiest way to bring those addresses in from the RSLogix program and create tags for them. Now, you do not want to bring in your ControlLogix tags. A lot of people ask me this. I'm like, no, you don't want to import those. It's a waste. Really, it's a waste of time. Slows down the project. And I'm going to show you why. Well, I already told you why you don't want to direct reference PLC and SLC-500 and MicroLogix, because you get this address here. Nobody's going to know what that is. But that's not the case with the ControlLogix, right? The ControlLogix has a tag database. It doesn't have a data table. It has a tag database. So here, let's go ahead and browse here. And we'll go to the L63. Now I can go online because it is on Ethernet, or I can go offline. It does not matter. It does not matter one bit, because it's going to give you the same exact address if you select the same exact address. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a molding machine 1. No, actually, this is the program we've been building together. So let's get, we're doing some messages from the 1400 over Ethernet. So let's get some of its data here. There it is, data 27. And of course, this doesn't start at 50, it starts at 0. So we'll do 3. Where's 3? There it is. So that's the same as N753 in the MicroLogix 1400. Because I'm reading those 50 words in and putting it in that array. If you remember from the previous show, that's what we did. So this will be the ControlLogix here. Let me get some text. And we'll type in here, whoops. Text. And we'll type in here L63. Excellent. Make it bigger. Beautiful. Okay, that one's right, so we'll duplicate it twice. Bring it down here. What the heck, we'll do all of them. Even space. Whoops. And we can center them too. And then this will be, instead of 3, it's going to be 13. And then this one will be 23. Okay, so now we got to do two more. One for the SLC-500, one for the PLC-5. Okay, I should have grouped that first. It just makes it so much easier to align everything. Duplicate, duplicate. Put this one here. Put that one there. And now I can align these groups. Let's align to top. Excellent. Let's even space them. Perfect. Now, a lot of people like to use the grid. And it makes sense if you're doing a lot of editing. But for this quick little project, we don't need no grid. So we'll make this one the SLC-4. Whoops, what happened here? SLC-4 or 504. And we will make this one the PLC-5. Okay. So I'll do Control-A inside the group and center them. Do the same thing in here. Control-A, center. Perfect. Okay. So now I think I'm done with the group. So I'm going to ungroup. Ungroup. And now let's go find these tags. So this one will be, now this is kind of confusing. What do I want to do? Which one do I want? I really wish this feature was turned on by default. What we're going to do here is we're going to do show server names. And now I can see what is RS Links Enterprise and what is my project. So there's my 504. Okay, so let's search on speed here. Asterisk, speed asterisk. There they are. So I'll take this one first. Number 1. And then we'll make this one number 2. And we'll make this one number 3. Okay, so now we got to do the PLC-5, same exact thing here, except we want to go to the 520 folder. And we same exact filter here, so we'll do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let me save my work. Let me play test. There they are. Now again, these are going to be identical because we're actually testing these with the MicroLogix. And of course, this is going to be the same because we're reading these in from the ControlLogix, but the ControlLogix is messaging that in from the MicroLogix. So that's why all of these are the same. Now, notice that these aren't the same though. Well, they're not updating at the same rate. We could tell this to update faster if we just came in here, whoops, and went to display settings. And let's speed this up. 10 times a second. That may be a little too fast for some slower networks, but quarter second, I would never go slower than a quarter second. So 0.1 second might be, for a Data Highway Plus, maybe a little fast. But now the other thing you got to keep in mind too is this data is coming into the L63. I think we have that timer set to 10 seconds or 20 seconds, I forget. So that's why this guy is lagging these guys. Okay, so this just went to 162. That message only fires off like every 10 or 20 seconds. We'll just wait here. It should come up any second now. Come on, baby, don't. There we go, 128. All right, so now let's see if we can get the data over Data Highway Plus in the PanelView Plus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that. I'm going to go to Application, Create Runtime Application. And here's the big thing. I need to make this a version 5.1 because I'm using an old PanelView Plus. And the highest version that could take is 5.1. So let me go ahead and create that. Okay, it's closing everything down. And here in mere moments, it'll create us a runtime. All right, now we'll use the transfer wizard to send it down to the panel view, and we'll see if it works. Okay, there's my panel view. That's not my program. That's my program. Okay, I always leave these checked. Talked about that before. Very important. And now it's downloading. And here in mere moments, the terminal will reboot, and we'll see if it works. All right, so here you can see that it's booted up And we can see we get data coming in from the L63. That's actually the micro 1400 data that it's reading in using the message instruction. And over DH45. Oh no, this one's over Ethernet. And then we can see our 504 data and our PLC-5 data. And with that, that's how easy it is to create a PanelView Plus project to communicate to a PLC-5, SLC-504, and L63 over Data Highway Plus. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up and a like. And if you'd like to help keep the show going, you can support us over at patreon.com/automation for a small monthly pledge. And in return, you'll get free stuff, insider access, ad-free articles, and more. And with that said, I also want to thank theautomationschool.com, where I work full-time, for letting us use the studio and the equipment. If you know anybody who wants to learn the PanelView Plus, check out my course, PVP Core Basics, over at theautomationschool.com. If you buy it now, you'll get the updates for free when they come out. And with that, that's it for this episode. I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, my friends, peace.